Okay, Minnie, don't do anything dumb that's gonna make you look stupid in front of the really cool YouTuber.
Hello.
Awesome.
Cool.
Okay. What campaign is your favorite or multiplayer?
As cliche as it is, all of them.
I
But
don't think that's cliche at all.
if I have any particular favorites,
Do you have like a special mission? Like anything? What was like? Do you remember the first like mission you ever played for Halo?
Silent Cartographer, Halo CE.
Okay. So I'll start off the questions kind of easy. How do you feel about everything that's going on with Halo Infinite currently?
I'm relatively optimistic about it just because I'm optimistic by nature, but at the same time I can't ignore the fact that it's been a serious kick in the teeth. Halo's been suffering for quite a long time, and Halo Infinite had so many hopes, so much potential, that I think a lot of people were kind of hoping Halo Infinite would be somewhat of a rebirth. But then it kind of landed and it had flopped, and
It's really, really sad because like it's not even like it flopped. Like when everything happened and it dropped in November, like it was so well received. It's just they weren't. I don't think they were ready for it to become that popular that fast. How did you feel about the campaign? Did you like it? Did you feel like
I really enjoyed the campaign. It obviously opened up a new kind of way of playing, and it's it adds again a great potential to build on, because obviously it's kind of a basic. It's almost like the basic foundation, so to speak, that could then be built upon. So yeah, I was pleasantly surprised and impressed with the campaign, but it's still pretty devastating that it didn't have co-op at launch. It didn't have Forge at launch, and the fact that that was one of the first Halo titles that's ever launched without kind of those key gameplay dynamics at launch was just kind of, I don't know. I think that's another thing that just really rubbed people up the wrong way.
No, I completely agree. I mean, when you have a franchise that's 20 years old, and every time everyone's at the release of a game been like, yeah, I'm gonna go hang out with my buddy and we're gonna play it, and you couldn't do that for almost a whole year. So it definitely does affect it. But I really do think with Forge, when it does come out, because I'm sure you've seen the leaks recently.
Yeah, I have. Yeah.
It looks
all the
stellar.
Yeah, the tools they've got available for Forge this time around look like, people are going to really be able to make some massively impressive stuff,
I'm a little disappointed that they don't have AI editing, but I do think it's coming, because I saw in a video somewhere that someone were spawning jackals on Behemoth, and I mean, once like AI editing is added into Forge, I feel like at that point it's just the Halo community that's gonna keep Halo alive. Like at that point you don't need the middleman anymore. We can just do it all ourselves.
Yeah. Oof. Damn.
Ooh. This is an angry elite. Oh god. So how do you feel about the Endless?
They're an interesting addition to the Halo universe from a lore perspective, and I find it, relatively fascinating that they were something that was known about by the Foreigners, but kept so secret that barely anyone knew about them. The fact that by all appearances they weren't affected by the flood, and seemingly weren't affected by the firing of the rings either, makes them particularly fascinating. I don't know whether that's as a consequence of their biology or a consequence of their technology, but in either case, I'm looking forward to finding out more about them.
Now,
I've also noticed some sort of tenuous similarities in the physical appearance of the Watchers in Halo 4 and Halo 5, and the Skimmers in Halo Infinite. The Skimmers,
I haven't thought about that.
The Watchers almost look like they're kind of like a composed robotic version of the Skimmers.
So, I know we don't really know anything, but do you think if they can't be affected by the rings, can they still be composed? Because if there's a different biological thing that they have that could prevent them from when the rings ignite and send that wave throughout that kills everything. If they don't like immediately die from that, do you think when they get hit with the beam that disintegrates people to compose them that they would compose?
Well, composers, the actual composer device, so to speak, it is actually used in some capacity in the firing of the Halos.
Okay.
We don't know to what degree exactly they're used, but they are in the lore. It's written that the composers play a role in the firing of the array. So if they're resistant or invulnerable to the effects of the Halo, it stands to reason they won't be affected by a composer either.
That can create some big threats.
Well, it also makes it interesting then as to why the Foreigners decided to take the actions that they did, because obviously they want to preserve their particular kind of narrative and series of events. You know, the whole history is written by the victors kind of situation, and they inevitably wanted to allow humanity to take over the mantle of responsibility, because, well, mainly because we were kind of something of a subordinate species to them by that point, as they genetically manipulated us and implanted some of us with gene songs, and we'd been devolved by the Foreigners to kind of a base level. So in order to maintain their control over their narrative, they would have wanted humanity to be the inevitable reclaimers and inheritors of the mantle of responsibility, and then with the survival of the Endless, that would have risked that narrative being able to be established, because they would have had that same level of technological sophistication at the moment that the installation fired, and yet the whole galaxy would be basically empty of life while the reseeding process would take place, which took a couple of 100 years, as I recall. So during that time, the Endless could have taken control of the galaxy basically, and then changed the narrative. So it's interesting.
They're probably I've never been so excited for an enemy type, just because like if they are like derived from precursors in some way, that'll really it's gonna add a lot of lore to the Forerunner war.
Yeah. Well, the precursors again even have been described as being able to take on many different forms due to their transcendent nature. Damn.
Oh, this is gonna be rough. Alright.
Yeah.
I need me a plasma weapon real fast.
Well, there's like 4 generals and 3 flight elites up here.
Oh, I'm not worried at all. I'm totally not nervous.
1 general that's coming down with a sword.
Oh no. Oh my god, his buddy's taking all the bullets for him. Here we go. Oh, Jesus! I was trying so hard. So, do you have any working theories for how you think they're gonna go forward for the next, campaign sequel?
I've got a few thoughts in regards to what's going on with the Endless, and whether or not Atriox will actually end up being an ally as opposed to an enemy.
Really?
Because although he's the one that's currently going to, as we saw at the end of credit cutscene on the legendary ending of Halo Infinite, he's the one that physically released the Endless. So with that in mind, it's interesting because it's been made clear by the Harbinger that she's only keeping the banished around as long as they're useful, and that she views them as inferior to her, basically inferior to their species. So inevitably, if she uses the banished to release her species, which Aatrox is doing precisely that, or has done precisely that, then it stands to reason then that the second they're released, they'll turn on the banished. And Aatrox has already demonstrated on more than one occasion that he has he respects humanity because of how hard we fight and how valiant we've been in combat. So, and even the fact that there are humans actually in the banished, because no alien sect has ever allowed that to happen before.
Yeah.
So I've got a distinct impression that we're going to have a situation where the Endless kind of betray the banished, and then it's the enemy of my enemy is my friend kind of situation, where
kind of like
maybe not all,
Halo 3 with
maybe
the
not
Flood for that one little bit.
Yeah, maybe not all of the banished, but I think it would be rather interesting if whoever rises to fill Escherum's boots is going to be obviously who comes after Chief next. It'll be interesting if Chief is kind of blindsided perhaps and pinned down, or is basically in a compromised position where there seems like there's no way out for him, and then suddenly Aatrox shows up and actually protects the Chief, or puts an end to the brute that's trying to harm the Chief, because he realizes the Chief is their best hope.
Yeah. So then it's kind of like, it's different from Arbiter and Chief's relationship, because they ended up becoming like brothers. They both like knew the Covenant was wrong, but like if they have to become allies just out of necessity, that I feel like will almost be better, because then immediately once that new threat is taken out, it's like, okay, now we go back to killing each other.
Yeah.
Which is honestly good, because one thing that I don't know if this is like a hot take or something, but I feel like Halo needs a steady villain. Like, I do like how Aatrox has kind of like become this foreboding presence over the years, with his introduction in Halo Wars 2 to now, when, I mean, other than the end credit cutscene, the only time we really see him is when he bodies Chief, which is incredibly impressive. Because Chief is, like, even in the books, like, he's been in pretty rough fights, but, like, Aatrox really did, brutally, pun intended.
Yeah.
So, I don't, if they do anything but, like, make Aatrox this incredibly, like, badass killer, like, I will be so disappointed. Like, I almost don't want him to lose.
Yeah. Yeah, it's he's a fascinating character, and the thing is there's already been hints a few times before of brutes who have been intelligent enough and willing to cooperate enough to actually work with humanity. I mean, there was what was his name?
Are you thinking from Point of Light?
Yeah. Point of Light? No, it was Escalation. I can't remember his name. But yeah, there was basically there was a peace pact that was supported by the Infinity and Spartans particularly. That the whole thing was kind of protected by Spartans, and one of the brutes, Lidus,
Ah, yes.
Lidus, yeah, he wanted to basically sign a peace pact and initially
Watch out.
distrusted humanity and the Spartans, but came to trust them because he realised that that humanity weren't being dicks basically. So
You should put
it's
that
been
on
hinted a
your
few
next
times.
t-shirt.
Yeah.
You wolf, you dicks.
So it's been hinted a few times that that's kind of a rough intention on where they want to go. So,
No,
and it'll be awesome. It'll be awesome if for the first time in like multiplayer as well, we had both playable elites and brutes.
Yeah, I while we're on the topic of multiplayer, this new mode, be it a battle royale or some awesome kind of invasion mode, it would be so awesome if the enemy team was brutes and there were playable brutes. Like, it is going to be such a missed opportunity if they don't do that. Cause like even from like, not that I want to promote like more ways they can monetize things, but if they make another core that is just a brute, you have more items that you can make to monetize stuff that's different from the other stuff.
Yeah. How did he go? The jackal just came through the gravity lift and just like jumped over me, bounced off of my head and disappeared.
He's a magician. I think you summoned the jackal behind me.
Ooh.
Do you think that if there is a battle royale coming, that it's gonna be what saves the multiplayer side of Infinite?
I don't think just one single game mode, unless it's something ridiculously like innovative that that really does like set it apart from the rest of what's out there at the moment. I don't think one single game mode is going to be enough.
No, I completely agree.
It might attract, a good steady crowd back, a good steady audience, but if they want Halo Infinite to grow to the potential that it at least suggested to have back in the back sort of when it was first announced, and when people first started getting a good look at what it was going to offer, there needs to be a serious kind of retool and rethink about exactly where they're going and just give it an identity again. I think the problem with Halo recently is that it's been emulating what's already out there, and Halo has always been a trend setter, not a trend follower.
No, I agree
So,
with you. Like,
Halo needs to do something itself that's unique and stands apart from
other games,
everything else.
Other IPs, yeah. That's why, like,
Yeah.
I'm not opposed to Halo having a battle royale, because like more content is good. But like, I definitely think like they need invasion. Like, I don't know why they spent so much time on Warzone and didn't think about bringing it to Infinite. Like, even if you don't like Warzone, like I absolutely despise Halo 5, but I still think that game mode should have at least been like brought over for the fans of that game.
Yeah.
But no, I think Halo needs to go back to what they were saying when they were advertising and Infinite was coming out. That it really just needs to be a arena shooter and kind of really lean into that and have its own identity again. Oh man.
Yeah.
I'm calling in orbital assets to close the gap.
You cool for one more time? And then we actually move. This time, we'll actually not die. Speaking of the sandbox, are there any guns that you really wish they would bring into Halo Infinite?
The Stanchion.
What is that?
This sector is your number
The Stanchion is actually in the lore. It's never been in game, and I think it should probably be isolated to either being an absolute specialty weapon on multiplayer, or ideally isolated specifically to campaign. But it's basically it's a Gauss sniper rifle.
That would be amazing. No, I think that
Gauss,
could
depending on how you
totally
pronounce
fit in multiplayer, especially with the ordnance drops that they're doing. You could totally make it a thing, but make it where it has like a set spawn. So this is kind of a really weird gripe I have with Infinite with the orbital drops. I think heavy weapons should drop, and I think it's really cool, and I like the mechanic, but I wish like everyone knew where the rocket launcher was, or because in Halo 3, you think back to like Valhalla or Sandtrap, it's like, okay, I know where the rocket pods are, I know where everything is, like, I'm gonna use this to my advantage, and that promotes conflicts and encounters with other players, and I kind of want that to come back, and I want a lot of the randomness to fall away, because I feel like they're only doing random spawns to emulate the trends that other games have.
Yeah, absolutely. And the weapon sandbox in Infinite is interesting, but it's limited. It would be good if they could kind of expand on it a little bit. Like I said, the stanchion, it's stuck out to me since it was first written about in Contact Harvest back in the day. So, I mean, it's a hell of a gun. I mean, it's about 2 meters long. It's 2 meters long, so it's huge anyway. The barrel on it's huge, and it fires a really small projectile, but at hypersonic velocities.
Especially since we don't have the Gauss Hog, or not the Gauss Hog, the Spartan laser, and we don't have the Gauss Hog, so that would fit perfect in Infinite Sandbox, I think. It just makes sense.
It's such a powerful rifle as well. Like it's literally like basically one-shot kill. So if you actually land a shot, it. I mean, it was described in the book that I think Sergeant Johnson used it against an insurrectionist, and he shot the insurrectionist at the apex of his sternum, and all that was left was his boots.
Oh my god! Yeah, we need that gun.
So it's a hell of a gun. Yeah.
It would be... See, that's way better than my answer. I just want the brute shot back really bad.
Oh, the brute shot would be good, yeah.
It's not even for, like, anything, like, because I think it'll fit in the sandbox really well. I just think it's a really cool gun, and I just like the sound that it makes, and, like... The Mangler is cool, and the shock rifle is cool, and I like that they have their blades on them, but it doesn't, like, if I'm using the shock rifle and I'm punching someone with it, that's because either I'm getting pushed or I'm in a really bad situation.
Yeah.
Like, the brute shot, anytime I pick that thing up, I am running straight at the enemy and just unloading, and I always thought that was super fun.
Yeah, you become a bit of a powerhouse in the short time you have it. I remember being in multiplayer for Halo 3, and I think it was on Sandtrap, and I remember the enemy team had a Warthog loaded up and were a real problem, and I managed to get hold of a brute shot and literally just unloaded and sent the Warthog like barrel rolling across the map and wiped them out completely. And yeah, that was awesome.
I love the physics in Halo 3 so much. Just the fact that, like, explosions throw things around, so it makes for so many good moments.
Yeah.
Do you have a favorite multiplayer map from any of this series?
Epitaph, Halo 3.
Epitaph is
it's the ambience of it more than anything else. It's a well-designed map anyway, but it's got an eerie kind of temple-like feel about it, and
I think
just standing around it just standing around it, you can hear that really deep, ethereal voice humming the Halo theme. And it's just, yeah, there's something about it just is really... Whoa! Hunter.
He came out of nowhere.
No.
Oh boy, that hurt. Oh, you got friends behind him too.
Okay, well, one of them's down. Which means the other one's gonna be pissed off. Be that.
I'm less concerned about him being pissed off and more concerned about where he is, because I have no idea.
Oh, down.
So, do you have... I want to make it a thing where I give creators like a chance to talk about stuff other than Halo 2. So, do you have anything you're working on with your other channels that you're excited about for 00 Lounge or Lorecore Multiverse?
So I've got 3 channels. The last one is Ambient Wonders, but that just kind of does like ambient stuff from different games, like the ambient sounds of levels, just to chillax to or to study or whatever.
Yeah, I put on Ambient Wonders when I'm going to bed. I hope that's not weird to say.
No, that's not weird. So people have said to me regularly on the main channel that they listen to my most detailed breakdowns when they go to sleep.
Yeah, dude, you do have like an incredible voice. I hope that somehow, eventually, you get to voice act, and I will totally support it.
I've done some amateur voice acting stuff.
Really?
But
that's awesome.
yeah. In the are you aware of the I suppose the most immediate, or most prominent in my head at the moment is, the Halo 3 campaign demo, I suppose, built with the Unreal Engine that was released recently.
Yes,
Drop
for
Zone.
ODST. Yeah, I tried playing it and I was so angry because my computer runs it like literally at 1 frame every 5 seconds.
Yeah, I did a couple of voice acting bits in the audio logs.
Awesome. Yeah, I saw you were in the credits and I was really excited. So I got the credits to roll, I got the menu to roll, and I was so excited, and I started it, and I was good in the beginning hallway, but the second I got outside, my whole computer just like, I thought it was going to take off and go into space. It was bad.
It's pretty heavy on the computer resources, yeah. Even my one like wasn't running optimally. So, yeah. Oh, damn.
So, funny story about my computer. I've had it, I bought it when I was 16 on the Oculus website because I wanted to try VR. And I've had it since then, and I've never upgraded it. And I've taken it with me from New Jersey to Texas to Florida and back to New Jersey. And it still works, but I just recently took it apart to finally put an SSD in it. And my graphics card is literally just the graphics card. There's no plastic casing, there's nothing, it is just metal. And my brother, he was helping me put in my SSD, because I know nothing about computers, and he was like, we really need to upgrade your computer, this is really sad. Oh no, I found the other hunter.
Yeah. Big boy. So yeah, with the other channels, so I've got I'm a massive, so look, oops, sorry, I'll slap my microphone. Lorecore I initially established because I didn't want to just be like a one.
Like
Yeah, go on. Yeah. Lorecore I established because I didn't just want to be like a one-trick horse. I wanted to do what I'm so well known for doing most detailed breakdowns for Halo, but do it for other game franchises that I'm into and I'm interested in.
Yeah, your Doom Eternal one was awesome.
I really enjoyed that one, actually, yeah. I really enjoyed doing the Crisis nanosuit as well, but I'm revisiting Crisis soon enough. I'm getting back into Deus Ex, mainly because I've actually got experience with material science, with...
You want to get in the Warthog? Change it up a little bit?
Yeah. I've got experience with material science related to electroactive polymers for cybernetics, so I kind of want to touch base with Deus Ex, and particularly I'm doing another long playthrough at the moment of Mass Effect Legendary Edition.
Okay.
So Mass Effect was like another one of those games that I just got addicted to back in the day, and I really want to give it its due. And there's so much lore surrounding a lot of the things in Mass Effect that I'm quite excited for.
Oh yeah,
And
BioWare kills it. Oh my god.
Yeah, and aside from that, with the 00 Lounge, it's I nearly shot one of our friends then. With the 00 Lounge, it's my opportunity to kind of get away from gaming and lean more on my kind of more intellectual nature, and I've got some interesting talks coming up soon enough, talking about like the differences in gun laws between the US and the UK, for example, and having like an intellectual debate about that.
That's awesome. If you need anyone to talk about or debate with you on that, I am so down.
Yeah, it's interesting because like I had quite an enlightening conversation with another content creator, and he's obviously US based and he's a veteran. His name's John, and he Spartan John, and he
I didn't know he was a veteran. That's awesome.
Yeah, and his opinions on why, because obviously I'm UK, I'm British, I'm UK based, so our gun laws are such where I don't, in my own opinion, I don't believe it's necessary for civilians to own weapons, to own firearms and things like that. But I'm completely and utterly willing to accept that the culture in the US is fundamentally different. I'm not going to stand on my soapbox and demand that the US citizens give up their guns, because it is a completely different climate. And if I was in if I was in their same situation where guns were so easily accessible, I would want to own a gun to protect my family.
Exactly.
So when we started talking about it, and those we were I think the dialogue opened up because I think he realized I was open-minded enough to actually talk about it sensibly as an adult and not just stand on my soapbox. And just the short conversation we had about it then, I think, was so stimulating and opened my eyes to so much and opened his eyes to so much that I think it would be really useful to get that on record, so to speak, and have a kind of a point for people to listen to and think, actually, you know what, that makes a lot of sense. So I just wanted to give air to the argument, especially with how prevalent news stories and things like that have been recently. And
no, I think that's a great thing, and it's a good conversation.
I'm quite excited for that.
Needs to be had. No, I definitely will watch that video. That
of course,
exciting.
And of course, aside from that, I'm always building Project Mjolnir as well.
Oh my god! I literally, the whole bottom of my page is just questions for Project Mjolnir. I'm so excited for that, because I have a lot of weird questions. Like, so everything is your... Okay, hold on. Let me... I have to contain myself. So, a little bit of my background. I was in the Air Force, but I went into the Air Force with a Special Forces contract until my appendix blew up. And when my appendix blew up, I was... Yeah. I'm sorry, I accidentally pressed B. Oh, everything was awful. Oh, God. So...
That's alright, we made it pretty far, to be fair.
Yeah, we did. I think that was our best run so far. But, so I went in for Special Forces. I was 6 months into the program, and my appendix blew up, and they were like, look, it's going to take you 15 weeks to heal. You can't go in the water, you can't do anything, so you can either get out of the military or get a new job. So I changed jobs, but the reason I bring it up is because while I was in the pipeline for Special Forces, I got to see some of the new tech that's being invented for the military. So, like, they have Bluetooth scopes that connect to, not like the Google HoloLens, but very similar. And they have, like, infrared and everything, so that way you can put your gun scope and everything around the corner, but the image is getting projected to the lens. So, for, like, stuff that you're going to do for Project Mjolnir, once it's built, are you going to patent it? You are very much creating history. Like, not even just from a video game sense, but you're making a fully titanium suit that works. So, hey guys, thank you so much for watching the video. This is my first interview podcast series that I'll be doing with other content creators I have another episode with Installation 00 that will be coming out in 3 days, and it's all about Project Mjolnir. We pretty much, for the next 45 minutes after this, we're just talking about it, so I wanted to make it its own video, because it's that important. Leave a like and subscribe if you guys enjoyed. Check out some of the funny videos I have, and check back in a few days for the next podcast. Have a good day. Bye. Lowercase x Miniman 15. I know it's kind of obnoxious. I made it when I was 7, and I've never changed it.
That's alright. My first game of tag was pretty cringe as well, to be fair.
Oh, what was it?
Higgins the Third.
That's not that bad. Where'd it come from?
It was a nickname, and
Nice.
yeah, I just got called Lord Higgins the Third.
I really hope this catches on, and every time you stream now, that's just blasted into chat.